Welcome, welcome everyone to another episode of Heal Profoundly and Enduringly. I am your host, Laura Mazzotta. I'm an Akashic therapist and Reiki master. And I have Victoria Jimenez here with me, and I'm so excited to hang out with her and introduce you to her in just a moment. But for those of you who are not used to this is a show that I air every single Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And this was downloaded by Source because Source really wanted people to have more resources and tools at their disposal to empower themselves to heal. So I'm bringing on experts, healers, intuitives, coaches, etc., to be able to guide you on your path and also introduce you to people so that you can really get to know their personality and whether this is somebody that you'd like to work more closely with. So this is Victoria. She's an intuitive healer, new to the healing and spiritual community. Welcome. From a young age, she has felt it was her purpose to help heal other people. She got her bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders. Shortly after that, realized it wasn't for her and is now working toward becoming a life coach. God bless you, my friend. Today, she's going to be talking to us about balancing masculine and feminine energy within, which is literally one of my favorite topics ever. So I'm so excited. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Say hello, guys. If you're here, I'm just going to pull this up on my phone so that you can say good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. So we are going to start this show the way that I always do, which is asking you, Tori, what is that one thing that you feel is necessary to heal profoundly and enduringly? So it's not just a Band-Aid approach.
I feel it's realizing that there is a change you need to make, and you have to be willing to make that change and to push yourself forward, because you can want the change, but you can't just expect it to happen magically.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of work.
You got to take the end, you got to put the effort in, right?
Yeah.
And take that action. Absolutely. I love that. And, you know, this is a perfect message for this week too, because we're coming off of this new moon in Aries energy, and that's all about taking action. And I think that over the weekend, it really uncovered a lot for a lot of people as to like where they can take action and what lights their fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. So what are some of the wounded feminine traits? Can you share that with us?
So some of the traits are going to be very insecure, very codependent, be able to speak their truth, their voice, and then kind of be like envious of people who are able to speak their truth and be their authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And
And what about wounded masculine?
Masculine, they're kind of like feeling they always need to be in control, and then if they can't be in the control, their emotions get very unbalanced, and they can get in their ego and kind of be emotionally checked out. And what I like to think about the unbalanced femme and masculine is like the unbalanced feminine is very like overthinking, where the masculine is very like undertaking, just doing.
Yeah, I love that. That's helpful. I think I was a little wounded feminine this weekend. I think I was overthinking a little bit this weekend. So what does it look like when they're balanced though? Like, you know, when we're kind of comparing the two, like when you balance them, what does it look like?
When you're balanced, in your feminine balance, you're feeling more confident, intuitive, independent, true to yourself, able to be who you truly are.
Mm-hmm.
And in your balanced masculine, you're able to take responsibility for your actions, be more honest, focused, willing to make compromises.
Brilliant. And they support each other, right? Like the masculine and the feminine. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
So, and how they support each other is, so if you're like feeling insecure, say like it helps you direct your energy more. So like you're able to make choices without like these lingering feelings of like guilt and feeling like you're not enough. You're able, because I feel like in your masculine, you're able to push where you need to be, but your feminine is more like you're overthinking, you're like you don't you kind of hold back from your true self. And when you have those balance, you can be where you need to be.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that I always like to think of it like this too, that the masculine really provides a structure for us, right? It provides a holding container. And that when we have that in balance, our feminine has the ability to flow more, and
Mhm.
then we get to open up to even more of our authentic selves. Like you're saying, like
Yeah.
that authentic self comes from that feminine, that strong feminine. And so we get to embody even more of ourselves when we have that masculine around, because I think what happens a lot is that we end up having this wounded perspective of the masculine, and then we kind of reject it. I know that's what I did for a while. Like I was super masculine, go, 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 and no feminine. And then I kind of swang the other way where I was, all my feminine flow and like really spiting structure. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Right. And I had to
Yeah.
kind of find my balance in the middle where I realized that there's a place for both of them and they're very supportive of one another.
Yeah. I was recently very like in my masculine trying to like control everything. And then like I realized that I had to balance it out because I was always trying to make it how I wanted and not letting it just be how it is. And I feel like that's how a lot of people are because your feminine can get repressed because we're taught just like not to be so vulnerable and like sensitive and put that side of us.
Right. And it's like, well, actually, just instead of saying, don't be so vulnerable and sensitive, how can I become more supportive of the sensitivity? How can I
Yeah.
become more supportive of the
Yeah.
femininity so that we can embrace it and appreciate its beauty? Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah.
So I know one of the tools that you had said you would share with us today is a journaling in the moon cycle. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we jump into that, so everybody get your pen and paper out to get ready for that. But before we get into that, how does it help you on your healing journey to do this? Like, why should somebody prioritize balancing their masculine and their feminine? How does this help them?
I feel it helps you because it figures out um kind of like where the underlying issues are of your healing and you can direct that energy forward and you can balance it and then you can become your best self. You can be able to speak your truth and do what you want without like this unbalance of
Mhm.
emotions.
Yeah. And then when we can do what we want, we're also not just forwarding that agenda from our ego that just wants us to reach a certain level of success in order to be good enough.
Yeah.
Like we're not just focused on that, but we're focused on really allowing ourselves to move forward and to be in control of our emotions and our fields and all of that. But we're moving towards something that is kind of closer to the desires of our feminine, right? Like what we
Yeah.
really desire or what the universe desires for us, which is an aspect of surrender, right? And that can feel
Yeah.
scary to a lot of people. So what would you recommend to somebody who feels a little scared to kind of embrace more of their feminine?
um I recommend trusting within yourself and trying to listen to your intuition more because once you do that, you are able to feel more confident, especially within yourself. Because if you can't trust within yourself, how do you expect to trust other people around you or what you're doing?
It's true. And everybody is a reflection of
Yes.
ourselves. I was even journaling this weekend and I was just like, I don't even remember what I started out journaling about, but I was journaling about something and I realized I was like, no, like that's just me casting judgment, right, on somebody else. And I was like, where do and I love that I can catch this right away now. It makes me so happy because the more that we heal, the more automatic this stuff becomes and we don't have to like make sense of it. But I looked at it and I was like, okay, great. Well, now that I'm aware of that, where am I judging this within myself? Or where is this coming up within me that I desire to heal at a much deeper level? Right. And that's the beautiful question, is that when these fears come up or when this hesitation comes up to step into something new, it's being able to say like, what is that part of me that I have within that I know already, I already know the answers to, I don't have to worry about what everybody else is doing around me or what everybody says is right or wrong or scary or successful or not. I get to tune into my wisdom and make that decision. And that helps us build our confidence so much more. Beautiful.
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing where like if someone is bothering me, I'm like, what in myself is bothered by that? Am I doing? And most of the time it's because it's something that I'm doing that I'm not happy about. And then I'm like, okay, this is what I need to change within myself and work towards.
Yes, exactly. And that's a beautiful act of humility and service to the whole planet, So
Yeah.
honoring you, sister, for being on this journey and all of us. Oh, thank you, Adam. He loves my earrings. These are my origami crane earrings and everybody wants them. And they were sold on Etsy and I can't find them anymore. It's very depressing, but you can search origami earrings. So I definitely want more of them. So let's chat about journaling in the moon cycle. Can you tell us about what this is and then tell people how they can start this practice for themselves? Because I love this topic.
Yeah, it kind of helps me plan out my month.
Mm-hmm.
So some people do all the moons, but I just do the new moon and the full moon. And I kind of figure out what I want, how I direct that energy, and kind of like what changes I need to make in order to get where I want to be or heal. Mm-hmm. And so during the new moon, I will set intentions for myself. Mm-hmm. And what I want to get done, write out like any changes I need to make. It's the new moon is where I write down like the projects and ideas that I want to put in for the next month for myself. And then for the full moon, I like to release whatever isn't working for me. So any bad habits, anything that's just hurting me emotionally, I'm just like, I need to learn to let go of that. And then I also set intentions for the full moon, what I can do for the next coming month and work towards.
Yeah.
And
no, go ahead. Were you going to say something else?
And then I also like to write down like what I'm thankful for too, because it helps me appreciate more. And then it could be like, wow, like look how far I've gotten myself. Look at the people who have supported me through everything in my healing journey.
I love that so much because it takes a village. Like we don't come to this on our own, we're meant to collaborate and do this together. And gratitude's beautiful because it's really, I love the way you said it too, because it really brought forward that idea that we need to sink into feeling it. Not just writing it down to say, I checked this off my list, but to really feel into that gratitude. And I also love that you use the new and the full moon because I tried to do all of the moon cycles and it was just it's a little too overwhelming for me. I was like, listen, it's helpful to have these reminders and this energy really on our side to like usher these ideas into play and putting them out into the world and usher this release forward for us so that we remember to do that. But it's also feminine energy. The moon is feminine energy. And so we obviously have access to the sun all day, every day. And so we get that masculine energy from the sun. And then when we really tune into the moon and allow ourselves to cultivate a relationship with this energy, it's really helpful. So those of you who are here on live or on the replay, this is the last day really that we're going to be experiencing some of that new moon and Aries energy. So you have a little bit of a tail end here that you can still take advantage of to set those intentions and really, like Tori was saying, like look inside and identify what are those things that I desire to change or those ideas that I have that I kind of want to put down. This is a good time for you to do that and to spend even just a few minutes with yourself and going within. This energy really supports it and it's a fiery energy. So it's really going to have a lot of momentum because Aries is actually the first sign of the astrological year too. So it kicks us off big time. So now is like a really, really important time to set your intentions. And I love how you said, like, you kind of do it for planning too, like with your business and stuff or with just your life. Cool. Yeah, because that
I
just helps
kind
us
of do a
manage
little
it.
mixture of both. Yeah.
I love that because it helps us
Yeah.
manage our energy better.
Yeah, because I feel like I can be scattered too. And then you said how like the doing each moon can get overwhelming. So sometimes I'll even do like maybe I'll just do one for the week, like write out a plan for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah,
That helps.
exactly. Yeah. Don't allow it to overwhelm you guys. These are meant to be tools to support you and make life easier. So, um, so how can people contact you, Tori, if they feel connected to your energy, if they're like, you know what, she's just, her vibe is so soothing. And which that's how I feel. That's why I'm saying that, because your vibe is very soothing.
Thank you.
And they want to reach out to you. Like, what is the best place to be able to connect?
I just started an Instagram. It's called Rise Bitch Rise. And I've been posting a lot of reels on like how to better yourself and just motivation right now. It's still in the works, but that's the best way to reach me.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah. And reels are the best way to grow on Instagram. So you're a rock star and they're so fun.
They are a lot of fun.
They're so fun. I just did one this morning. I'm doing a series on why mastering your intuition is important. And I was like, and I knew we had to jump on here, but I was like, oh, this is so much fun. I'm having fun with this. I want to record them all now, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. And do you have a podcast too?
Yeah, I have a podcast. Positivity.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
On Spotify.
My team just dropped the link for that. So that's why I was like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. You have a podcast. Congrats. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam's asking, would you say Pisces is one of the most interesting star signs that provide one of the most powerful energies? Yes, sir, I would, because every single time the moon is in Pisces, this is another thing you guys can do. I did this for a while. I don't do it anymore because I kind of know, but I would, in my journal, kind of identify what the moon sign was in to see how it affected me. And I learned that when there's a Pisces moon, woo, baby, the intuition is so flowing and so powerful. I find that Pisces season, I love it so much because I'm highly intuitive the entire time, but then I'm like ready for Pisces season to peace out. I'm like, okay, like I need a break from all these intuitive downloads. So you can learn how they interact with your energy. I think it's one of the most powerful signs because that's how I integrate with it and how I interact with it. But what would you say? Do you know much about astrology, Tori?
A little bit. And yeah, I think so. I am a Pisces, and I feel like
so is Adam. I think that's why he's asking.
And I feel like, yeah, Pisces season was very like overwhelming for me because I was getting like a lot of information and like it's very like emotional. I couldn't wait for Aries season because it was a lot.
I know, it was funny because I was like, okay, this has been really good. And I've gotten a lot of intuition, but it's time to just shut up and move, you know?
Yeah, it's like you needed a break from it.
Yes, I did. I was like, okay, thank you, source. Like, let's take a break, please. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was so lovely. And I really enjoyed chatting with you. And I can't wait for people to connect. Like I always say at the end of this show, if you guys feel even the littlest bit drawn to Tori's energy, go check out some of her reels. Go just start a conversation in the DMs and Instagram. And it's just a chat with two people and just start making those connections because it's this collaborative energy that we're meant to benefit from and rise from here on the planet. So just start to chat, people, and Tori will welcome you with open arms. So thank you so much for being here, friend.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. All right, guys. So I will actually not see you next Monday because it's spring break for my kiddos. So we're going to be playing. So I'm not going to see you next Monday for another episode of Heal Profoundly and Enduringly, but I will see you for the following. So you guys can catch up on a replay for next week. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. Have a good one. Bye.